If you've been on Twitter or Tumblr in the past few years, you've most likely seen this image. One look and it just looks like a regular drawing, maybe an original character. Another look, however, and you'll see that this is in fact a furry, weeaboo, cocaine-addicted drug dealer Thomas Jefferson wearing a Miku binder, who is also a tattoo artist and is taking Japanese lessons, in case you were wondering. Today we're going to look into the bizarre case of Umbrony, the popular artist who built their online presence from art like this. Let's get into it. Now, you've definitely seen cocaine addict furry Miku binder Thomas Jefferson, but have you seen the other pictures in the series? Yes, that's right, there are more. For example, Baby Daddy and stoner John Lawrence, who is in an a cappella group called The Revolution and is also a furry. Or perhaps furry heartthrob Philip Hamilton, who also goes by Philly Cheese. Or maybe even legally blind competitive gamer Alexander Hamilton, who runs track and works at Barnes & Noble, and wears an Ahegao sweater. Can I remind you that these people were slave owners? There are enough problems with how Hamilton itself portrays the founding fathers in such a sugar-coated way, without making them furry stoners who go to college and wear Hatsune Miku and Hello Kitty binders. Oh my god. But the problematic art from Umbrony does not stop there. The first thing you'll see when going into Umbrony's portfolio is a lot of Game of Grumps art. Oh my god, so I'm editing this and for some reason I said Game of Grumps because I've been watching Game of Thrones, sorry. For the record, I'm not a huge Game Grumps fan.
I've made a severe...
But you don't need to be to see that this is wrong. There's nothing wrong with drawing fan art, God knows I've drawn my fair share. But drawing real life people like this is fucked up. Umbrony not only drew extremely creepy ship art, but also super sexualized gender bend art of Danny and Aaron.
Oh, that's hot. That's hot.
They also drew ship art of Markiplier and Egoraptor, those two dudes from 21 Pilots, Markiplier and himself.
I'm done! I'm fucking done! Fuck you! Fuck you! Fuck you! Fuck you!
Markiplier and Tobuscus, yikes, and Kurt Cobain and Jack White.
Degenerates like you belong on a cross.
You know that guy who's known throughout the industry as an immature and abusive arsehole, and that guy who committed suicide? How is this art real? Aside from the awful, offensive art, Umbrony has also roleplayed as real-life people, with just as much tastefulness as you'd expect. For context, there are a lot of roleplay groups that go on DeviantArt and stuff where people roleplay with each other, unfortunately sometimes as real people. First up, Game Grumps under the username Sex Parties. He nervously approaches Danny. So I've been thinking of buying a dildo for myself, and I don't know where to start. Every day I wake up and say to myself while looking in the mirror, make it a good day, Everdan. But every day I regularly want to chug a lighter fluid. I actually headcanon that in college, Danny did have one male lover that took advantage of him and really hurt him, so now he's too scared to even explore that side of his sexuality anymore. But of course, Umbrony go off about how all the content you make about real people is classy. You liar! Next, Kurt Cobain under the name Grunge Stoner. I seriously love Kurt Cobain and Nirvana, what the heck. It's really sad that I relate to him so much. I spent $50 on Cobain and his biography, Heavier Than Heaven, because I was so intent on learning how he was. By the time I was born, Kurt was already gone, but that didn't stop him from inspiring me and playing a large part in my musical life. But also smut and gore are okay. Kurt almost peed. The Nirvana frontman jerked forward and tripped over, his eyes wide as he stared back at the man that had just scared the poop out of him. Kurt was in hospital due to his overdosage on heroin the night before.
Damn kids are just in the alleyways freaking shooting heroin.
Kurt was so high he was honestly just wondering what the hell had slapped him in the face. He blinked as the Japanese male took his hat back and just tilted his head as though not hearing him. He was having a delayed reaction to pretty much everything. Has this person ever done a drug before? And then they roleplayed Kurt Cobain overdosing on black tar heroin and going to heaven. And then they caught Eyes Chocolate Optics, so at this point I wish I was up there with him. Now I'm just about to wrap things up, so bear with me. The thing that got Umbrony back in the spotlight after all this time, and the thing that made them delete their account, is this post that they made about the Black Lives Matter / ACAB movements. I'm not going to read it all out, but basically their argument is that not all cops are bad, with choice lines like, "Do I think all cops are bastards?" is a gross generalizing statement against people who devote their lives to making the streets safer for you to walk? Yes. ACAB is an awful generalization that goes against the morals civil rights activists and MLK tried to impart on us. Of course there are bad cops, but there are also good ones, brown ones, black ones, white ones, all kinds of cops. Cops are not your enemy. This isn't really a defense for cops though. I'm not going to get into a counter argument because that's not what this video is about, but all I'll say is that there are so many wonderful resources being posted online at the moment about why this mindset is harmful to the black community and is wrong, and yet you choose to post this ill-informed and poorly timed rant which you surely knew would get hate. It's bizarre, it's offensive, and I think this tweet sums up the situation perfectly. So there you have it, the dark and sordid past of Umbrony, creator of Miku binder Thomas Jefferson. I made this video because the actions that Umbrony took were recent, frequent, they were old enough to know better, and they drew shit out of actual slave owners. By all accounts, they weren't a very nice person to other artists or their friends, and obviously their art and roleplays were super disrespectful and gross. Do I think Umbrony is irredeemable? Not at all. I think they need time away from the internet to reflect on their views and the type of content they're making. I don't think they're easily going to recover from this, but hopefully they can turn this into a learning experience. And then they can come back in 2021 with Deku binder George W. Bush.